1 second, please. Okay, Ms. Clifford, whenever you're ready.
Good evening. I am speaking tonight as the Vice President of the Harlandale Education Association. I want to express appreciation to the district for recently very greatly to our Harlandale ISD community. Overall, thank you very much for your time and consideration, and pause for a moment of silence for the lives that we recently lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clifford. Thank you so much. Next, community member that has signed up for public comment is Susan Salinas. Ms. Salinas. I'm ready whenever you are.
Good evening. I'm Susan Salinas, TSTA, speaking tonight on DOI and class size waivers. TSTA is in support of innovation, but not the language in DOI that allows districts not to follow law. We have seen how districts have disregarded the rights and educators of students. I am pleased to report that Harlandale decided to be very restrictive with the DOI plan. We appreciate the district's willingness to include TSTA and community members on the committee. We were able to give our input and ask questions. The DOI plan that is up for approval tonight is one that TSTA believes meets the needs of the district and our interests. We hope this plan will make it easier to find CTE teachers in these hard to find positions. We believe the district should review the success of this plan each year, and we encourage the board to vote for the DOI plan. One way a district can be innovative is to have smaller class sizes in all grade levels. The district is seeking waivers for 8 classrooms. It does not seem like a lot, but we are concerned with the 2 other campuses. At Adams, you have 3 classes in 4th grade that will be over the limit. This is a star grade level, and we should have smaller class sizes and not larger ones. At Gillette, you have a 3rd grade class that is dual language and a star class. They have 2 challenges: 1, additional children, and 2, providing a dual language program. The 2nd grade is critical too. Having larger classes for star grade levels does not make sense. We need to give the students and teachers every opportunity to succeed. We can ask any teacher that when 2 or 3 students are absent, It makes a huge difference. With the pandemic, the last year has not been the best for some of our students. We should have smaller class sizes so our students get more individualized instruction. TSTA recognizes the difficult budgetary times that school districts are facing, but even now, raising class sizes in the primary grade is bad policy. Seeking waivers to crowd more children into classrooms may save the district some money, but there could be ramifications later. Research shows that minority children from economically challenged areas who don't get the early individual attention they need will be at greater risk of dropping out when they get older. Those who do stay in school may not get the strong early educational foundation they need to succeed in later grades. Teachers do their best with every child, but larger classes run the risk of spreading teachers too thin. We are asking that the school board not approve the waivers. At least look at not approving them in star grades at Adams and Gillette. Thank you. And again, we are missing our teachers who have passed. I've known Adam many, many years, and he leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. So when you think of your leave for your teachers, I have a pre-K teacher. She's been out 10 days. She had the COVID shot, but she's running a fever. She had to take 5 of her own personal days, and she's not going to get paid because she doesn't have leave. So please consider upping that. Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Salinas. Thank you very much. Thank you. Agenda item 3, announcements.
Good evening, Ms. Cavazos and Board of Trustees. I can have everyone stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Can I get some help? It's not playing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, one and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honro la bandera de Texas, te juro lealtad, Texas, un estado bajo Dios, uno e indivisible.
Thank you. I have a few announcements tonight, so bear with me. There's many of them. So the first one I would like to announce is the T-Class grant. We are pleased to announce that we have received a grant through the Texas COVID Acceleration Learning Support Program. The total amount awarded through the direct grant fund is $1,470,876. And the estimated award for Harlandale support paid directly by TA is of $969,470. This grant will be used to support our students and teachers and help them with new tools to accelerate learning that has been affected due to COVID. Additionally, the grant provides the HR department the tools and the funds to find new ways to recruit as well as grow from within highly qualified teachers for the next 3 years. For your request, I have the testing results, how many people we've tested at each campus. So the first numbers that you see are the total number of students and staff that have been tested at each campus. And then here are the numbers of the students that have been registered at each elementary school. Can you see that? No.
Can we get that emailed to us?
Sure,
Thank you.
of course. Do you have any more questions on this? No, I can email it to you. Okay. I would also like to recognize the people that have retired so far. So we have Ms. Lubia Hernandez. She was a computer lab assistant at Frank Tejeda Academy, and she had 27 years of service here at Harlandale. Also, Mr. Richard Diaz, he was a maintenance delivery worker at most, and 11 years of service. And we have Sarah Hasso, Child Nutrition Department, and she was with us 23 years of service. So thank you everybody for their service. We want to give them a round of applause. I need to share another video and it's not showing up.
You need to open the video first.
Yes.
Is it this one?
Yep. It's that one. Try something.
I met so many new people.
I don't see it. Sorry, technical difficulties. It wasn't showing up.
I met so
It's not showing up on the stop share. Which one is it?
It's this one.
No. You're not. Yeah, it's not on this.
I
Okay, so you have to minimize it. Stop share. Share again. Find it on, where's it at?
It's not.
None of those. Scroll down. Or
You
up.
can't.
It's open. Where are that's? Here, video. That's. No, close it. Let me get in there. Click on it. You don't need this anymore, right?
No.
He needs that. We don't need this anymore? You need that, right? Okay. Screen. So let's open the video first. Yeah.
It's okay, I can see the videos.
Where is it? What do you call it? Where's the screen?
nutrition, and there was two parts. The first part was just a series of Zoom meetings, and then the second part
Okay, sorry about that. I think we probably fell in. So we had a few students from our district that were selected to participate in the Transformational Leadership Academy with Texas A&M University in San Antonio. And we talked to a few of them about their experience, and this is what they had to say.
I met so many new people. I made so many new friends. Just a great experience. And if I could do it again, I would. So Chile is short for Transformational Leadership Academy, and we actually went with the Cisneros institution, and there was two parts. The first part was just a series of Zoom meetings, and then the second part was we stayed at the Texas A&M dorms for a week, and we did college prep with them, and we had team building activities with students that were attending Texas A&M.
It was pretty cool how the peer mentors, how they were more closely to our age, a lot easier to get along with them and to just bond with them, to see them as more like friends than mentors.
One of our peer mentors, she made sure like we knew, like we were confident in what we were doing. So I feel like now that's something I can help my classmates with.
It was definitely eventful and a busy week, but I learned so much, not only about Texas A&M, but how to apply to the colleges, about when FAFSA opens. I learned more about my strengths, of course, and how to utilize them in a teamwork experience.
We did like icebreakers, we watched a movie, we also did like a art session, and also how to network. They also taught us that, how it's important, even if you don't know anybody, how to quickly introduce yourself to someone else, just in order so you can get your name out there. So we did the Clifton Strengths test to mainly learn like how do we best get our abilities, or like how do we best learn in a group aspect, and how to be better just as a group. Since we were in a group of 4 students, we each had our strengths, and we had to learn how to use our strengths in order to do good in a group project.
I think I learned like how to get out of my shell. Like when I got there, I didn't talk. Like I hated talking when we had to present. But the people that I met there, like we're still friends. Like now, we still talk all the time, and I don't regret going at all.
I definitely learned that there are different ways to be a leader. It's not necessarily having to be the most outspoken person, personally, because I'm just not that type of person. But there's different ways you can use your strengths to help out your other team members and be a leader in different ways. Yeah.
What I took from the camp mainly was in order like to really know your strengths and to learn how to use them to the best of your ability, like in order to maximize like what you do in your day-to-day life, and how much it actually does affect your life.
It actually helped me learn what I wanted to do when I get older, because I was still undecided, and it really helped me like know where in the direction, not exactly, but where I want to go. So I guess it kind of opened my eyes. I loved all of it actually. I wish I could go back.
And for time purposes, I was going to show you the video of Leah Morales, but you can find it on our website and also on our YouTube channel. She is a student from Harlandale Middle School who is on her way to being a national champ in table tennis. A few media outlets have also picked up her story, so you can actually find her all over the news. College Board. We would also like to recognize Ms. Michelle Vogts and Luis Science from STEM High School, who have been chosen to be part of the College Board National Hispanic Recognition Program. So congratulations to both of them. We are very proud. I would like to now read a statement about election campaigning in our district. I will pull it up. See if this works. The Harlandale Independent School District does not and will not endorse, support, or campaign for any political candidate running for any political office. Further, the district does not and will not allow for campaigning or electioneering by any political candidate on district property, at district events, or any district facilities in accordance with the district policy. District Policy BBBD Legal and the Texas Education Code Section 11.169 prohibit the expenditure of any school district funds or resources to electioneer for or against any candidate. Section 255.003 of the Texas Education Code makes it a Class A misdemeanor for an officer or employee of a public school district to knowingly spend or authorize the spending of public funds for political advertising in support of or to oppose any candidate. The Texas Ethics Commission has defined political advertising broadly to include any communication supporting or opposing a candidate for nomination or election to a public office, and concluded that Section 255.003 prohibits any distribution of political advertising that involves school district employees on school district time or school district equipment. For example, because the use of a school facility for meetings convened by the district requires expenditure of school district funds, Harlandale ISD is prohibited by its own policy, Section 11.169 of the Education Code and Section 255.003 of the Election Code for allowing candidates to electioneer during any school-related meeting held on the district property. While we welcome and appreciate people participating in the election process, if the district becomes aware of anyone engaging in any campaigning or electioneering conduct for or against a candidate or measure in violation of district policy, they will be directed to cease such conduct. Thank you for your understanding and attention to this matter. And last but not least, I would like to announce that our Harlandale at Home Virtual Academy will begin on September 27th for all students that applied and were eligible to participate. It is important to note that the eligibility of the students to participate in this academy was decided by the state government and not by the district. Those students who were accepted will be notified. We would also like to thank our CNI staff for stepping up and helping us be the instructors for this new virtual academy. We will initially be serving 92 students, kinder through 8th grade, and are able to accept students who qualify through December 17th. Mr. Michael Littlefield will be the principal of Harlandale at Home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mariana. Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 4, information and reports. 4A, LSG reporting of meeting minutes. Ms. Ortiz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Lone Star Governance Student Outcomes GPM 1.2, the percentage of students who passed one or more dual credits or dual enrollment classes will increase from 28% to 30% by 2021. I want to announce the time use tracker by Lone Star Governance that is dated August the 16th and September 14th, 2021. The board tracks its time invested during public authorized meetings. The visions and goals, we had student outcome minutes, 10 minutes and 1. 10 minutes were used to setting student outcome goals, minutes received discussing and voting on student outcome goals, monitoring reports according to the monitoring calendar, and 1 minute setting constraints or theory of action, or minutes received discussing and voting on constraint monitor reports according to the monitoring goal. The minutes setting timelines, deadlines, goals, or plans or other items or outcomes, there were 0 other topic minutes. Progress and accountability, there were 105 student outcome minutes. Minutes performing board self-evaluation using the Lone Star Governance Integrity Instrument, minutes evaluating the superintendent on student outcome goals, GPMs, constraints, and CPMs. There were 0 minutes performing board self-evaluation using instruments other than Lone Star Governance Integrity Instruments, or minutes evaluating the superintendent on items other than student outcome goals, GPMs, constraints, and CPMs. Systems and processes, there were 0 minutes discussing, debating, and voting on items removed from or the consent agenda. Advocacy and engagement, there were 0 minutes spent on student outcome minutes. Hosting two-way communication meetings on student outcome goals, constraints, or theories of action. 0 minutes recognizing the accomplishments of students and staff regarding progress on student outcome goals. There were 6 minutes spent on other topics, hosting all other board-led, co-led, or called community or committee meetings. Synergy and teamwork. There were 0 student outcome minutes. There were minutes fulfilling statutorily required public hearings, forums, comments, minutes, fulfilling statutorily required or LSG workshops. There were 0 minutes in there. And then other, any time spent on any activity that does not meet the conditions listed above. There were 238 other topic minutes. For a total of student outcome minutes, there were 116 minutes on student outcome. There were 244 on other topic minutes for a total of 316. So for student outcome minutes, percentage calculation is 116 divided by 360 times 100 equals 32% was spent on student outcome minutes for LSG.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Thank you very much. Agenda item 4.1. Mr. Soto?
Yes, Madam Chair. At this time, I would like to call on Norberto Gonzalez to present.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Norberto Gonzalez. I'm the CCMR coordinator for the district. And today I'll be discussing dual credit and dual enrollment performance. This is related to GPM 1.2, the percentage of students who pass 1 or more dual credit or dual enrollment classes will increase from 28% to 30% by 2021. And I indicated here, some of the partners that we partner with include on-ramps, which is through UT Austin, Alamo Colleges District, UTSA, and Alamo Academies. This is a visual. You might hear dual credit and dual enrollment used interchangeably, but they're actually 2 different things. They're set up a little differently. Dual credit, normally students have 1 teacher, and they have a class and they have assignments and tests and all that. It's pretty a typical classroom, and they are assigned grades. And at the end of the school year, that high school grade and the college grade are the same. So they'll receive 1 grade and they'll get the credit. And that's how a dual credit process works. With dual enrollment, and that's really our on-ramps program through UT Austin, students really have 2 teachers. They have the high school teacher at our comprehensive high schools, and they also have a UT Austin professor. And so throughout the course of the year, they are turning in assignments for their high school teacher, and they're also doing assessments and essays and other things for the college professor. And so they're given 2 different grades. The grade at the high school that they earn with the high school teacher, that equates to their high school credit. The grades that they submit with their UT Austin professor, that's a college grade, and that is what appears on their college transcript. So I just wanted to clarify that before I go into the data some more. This next slide is a look by graduating class. And also this indicator aligns to the CCMR accountability, which is the percentage of students passing 1 or more dual credit, dual enrollment classes. This data was taken from the taper, and the class of 2021 data is projected. So that's subject to change. That has not been officially released yet. And one thing is, on 2018 is STEM's first graduating class, so you'll see a big increase there. But if you go back to 2017, 16% of our students earned or were in a dual credit class, and we had 0% at that time in dual enrollment. In 2018, with STEM's first graduating class and the growing of our programs, 28% of our seniors in 2018 earned a dual credit and 3% dual enrollment. And that's where on-ramps started to appear when students started graduating at that time. In 2019, So far, that's been our strongest year. We jumped up to 34% and 3% dual enrollment. And in 2020, as COVID hit, you'll see that our dual credit numbers were impacted, not significantly, but there was an impact there. It went down to 29%. However, our dual enrollment, McCollum had expanded their on-ramps classes at that time, so we went up to 5%. As for the class of 2021 projection, dual credit pretty much stayed the same, but if you notice, we did increase dual enrollment to 8%. And again, McCollum expanded some of the classes there. I know this is small, but I just wanted to provide a look by campus and where we're looking. I'll do the easy one first, that's STEM. They're 100% every year because all of them, they all achieve that indicator. Now looking at Harlandale, looking at 2017, I'll just quickly read off those numbers. We had 19% dual credit, followed by the 2018, 25%, and 1% dual enrollment, which is it's a college algebra and pre-calc course through on-ramps. In 2019, they mirror the district. That was their strongest year with 31% dual credit, 1% dual enrollment. And in 2020, Harlandale High was also impacted by COVID, a 7% drop to 24%, 1% dual enrollment. And the class of 2021, again, it's subject to change, but there was another impact, went down to 16%. Dual enrollment went up a little to 2%. And I'll kind of explain in the next slides why that's probably happening. In McCollum, 2017, 19%, 2018, 29%, dual credit, 9% dual enrollment. 2019 actually wasn't their strongest year, it was the second strongest year for them. They were 36% dual credit, 7% dual enrollment. In 2020, McCollum was impacted also possibly by COVID. The dual credit dropped to 28%. However, that was the same year they expanded on-ramps. So you'll see that dual enrollment increased to 13%. 2021, the class of 2021 so far has been the largest percentage of students. Although dual credit stayed the same, you'll see that their dual enrollment increased to 17%. So I know we looked at our district, we looked at all our schools. Now let's look at how we look in our city, which is our neighbors and even the larger districts. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of where we're at and how our students are doing. Again, we're at 28% dual credit, 8% dual enrollment. Southside only offers dual credit at 14%. South San, they offer the students earn 28% dual credit, however, 4% dual enrollment. Southwest is a smaller program as well, 15% dual credit, 11% dual enrollment. Edgewood earned 32% dual credit, 6% dual enrollment. SAISD, 30% dual credit, 9% dual enrollment. So you'll see that our students are competitive with our neighboring districts. Northside and Northeast, theirs may look low. Their dual credit is 22% and 9%, but in looking at their data a little bit more for the larger school districts or largest school districts in the city, I know they have their AP program is larger. And so a bigger proportion of their students earn credits through that program. Same thing with NAISD, 14% dual credit and 17% dual enrollment. This is what our dual credit, dual enrollment looks like in 2021, this school year. And this is all grade levels. It's not, the other chart that I showed you was by graduating class. This is all students currently in our schools now. At Harlandale High School, we have 17%, McCollum, 16%, and STEM Early College is 70%. And that's only not 100% because our freshmen will not take a dual credit class until next semester. So overall, 23% of our students enrolled in Harlandale, McCollum, and STEM are currently enrolled in a dual credit or dual enrollment course. And since the CCMR indicator is based on both of these, both dual credit and dual enrollment, this will impact the class of 2022 as well as 2023 and 2024. One thing to note is that CCMR is an annual measure based on the number of graduates. If we award the diploma, we own the CCMR responsibility. Some things to consider in next steps, especially when it comes to Harlandale High. Currently, dual credit ELA is not taught by a dual credit teacher. There is a teacher, but they act as a facilitator, and someone from Palo Alto is teaching our students. So that's definitely a challenge. In the past 3 years, Harlandale High has lost 2 dual credit English teachers and a US history / world history dual credit teacher. There is a teacher now who is eligible, is in the process of applying for to teach dual credit ELA next school year. No campus currently has a dual credit math teacher, so we have to rely on on-ramps, which has its own challenges. Harlandale High School has expanded their on-ramps program from 2 to 9 courses. So now they're mirroring what McCollum offers, so it's equitable across the district. Another thing that we expanded this school year is that we added 2 additional math courses at UTSA downtown. Our students do have to get bused over there, but it's another opportunity. They earn college algebra 1 semester, pre-cal the next semester. So it's just giving our students the most opportunities from all of our college partners. Here's my contact information. If you have further questions, I'm at the College Cafe on Fitch Street, and my extension is 4472.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second. Is there any questions or comments right now from my colleagues to
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Gonzalez?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Mr. Gonzalez sharing that information. I do like the fact that you're providing us with what steps are going to be taken in place. Mr. Soto, I don't know if you can elaborate, because I'm a little bemused a bit because some of this information I don't feel was necessarily relayed to us. I don't know if you can kind of share maybe how we can, support Mr. Gonzalez and his team, especially because I think we could definitely utilize whatever component we're doing for DOI to find, these are high needs for sure. So that's what just kind of triggered my fancy in terms of that. I don't know what you can share with us, sir.
Of hiring teachers, sir, staff?
Yeah, because we're out those 2 DC classes, ELAR and then math. I didn't know there was no dual credit math teachers. I wasn't aware that we were in such dire straits when it came to those dual credit courses. To me, I mean, I don't want to put priority over one, but I do feel those are extremely important just as much as the CTE. And especially because those are the ones that are core content that they're going to get credit for when it comes to, and also the indicators I know are going to be really important for our rating.
You are correct, sir. Ms. Casey, can you elaborate?
Yes, so with our dual credit, we do have ELA teachers and dual credit and US history. What happened was the Harlandale teachers moved here to STEM. So those are they're a little easier to find. The dual credit math is actually part of the DOI plan. So we have the CTE teachers, we have dual credit math, and then we have ASL. So that one was included. We probably have not had a dual credit math teacher. I don't know that we've ever had one on staff, to be honest with you, but we do have ELA and US history teachers. It's just a matter of them transferring from one campus to another.
And if I could add to on the to help with that, I know that's why we added dual credit at UTSA. I know it's not held on our campus, but it gives the students opportunity to enroll in those classes. And also through on-ramps, one of our teachers on both at Harlandale and McCollum, they do teach on-ramps pre-cal and on-ramps college algebra.
Yeah, because I mean, I appreciate, that response and, obviously give us whatever necessary information we need to support you guys in that regard. I know CCMR is really huge and for me, for sure, college readiness is huge. I think that's one goal that I've been really centered on. But for sure, when it comes to things like that, because when you look at the data, it is pretty staggering when you look at the numbers. And I know we have all these variables to consider, such as COVID and things like that and obstacles. But if we're going to be able to provide them transportation or support in making sure that they have access to those classes, Especially, I know here at the early college, it's probably not as an issue, but and I know that makes sense when you're saying that, Miss Casey. But the high schools, I know for sure. I mean, when I was in school, that we had the ELAR for sure. That was available. So was the history. I think math kind of came after, maybe when my brother started, like in 2008, 2009. So I think maybe when you were a principal. So there's definitely things that we need to do to support it. And I don't want to, because I know a lot of times too, our kids sometimes don't choose not to join or to apply for early college STEM because they want to participate in extracurriculars. And so they stay at the McCullum or they stay at the traditional, Harlandale campus. So whatever we can do to offset these issues, we'll support you guys.
Anybody else? Any comments, questions for Ms. Casey or Mr. Gonzalez? Okay, thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Casey. Okay, moving on to agenda item 4B. The board will consider individual members' fidelity to board constraints for the purpose of revisiting board constraints on a monthly basis. Board constraint number 2, the board shall not collectively or individually, violate any board policy or board operating procedure. Every month on our regular board meetings, we bring a board constraint. It serves as a friendly reminder to the board of what our role is as a trustee, that we need to stay in our own lane, and a refresher every month doesn't hurt anybody. Mr. Soto, agenda item C.
Yes, Madam Chair. Ms. Mariana Veraza will go up and show us some enrollment trends that are going on here at Harlandale and correlated to local and state trends. At this time, we did have an open enrollment, and that number would also be presented on how many children were from out of our district.
These are the numbers we have. Sorry, that was loud. As you can see, based on last year, we had 12,467,000. As of today, we have 11,993. So that's 91.04 as a percent to last year.
Ms. Mariana.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't quite see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just if you can answer it for me.
Sure.
How many are out of district?
I don't have that information on that graph. Miss Casey, do you have that?
Ballpark figure?
Over 350.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
That's ballpark.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, and I don't know who this goes to, but I see the numbers are still down from last year, approximately 500 kids. Do we have an opportunity to bring attention to those parents that chose either not to enroll their children or didn't take them to another? I know that they were lost somehow in the, and I don't know if they're going back to school, whether it be with us, another school district, a charter. Is there a way to identify those 500 kids? Because we're down, about 800 from 2020, same time, 2019. We're down 500 from 2020. And I just would like to know if there's, what are we doing proactively to try and get enrollment up?
We've had our social workers and counselors making home visits. Mr. Hernandez has a chart where we ended up, and maybe we can share it, is where we believe some of these children did go to. It breaks it down to charters neighboring schools, and then some kids that we just cannot find. So it's a little bit of everything. And we could provide that and send an email to the board.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Ms. Mariana from my colleagues?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Carrillo.
I just wanted to ask, are the 92 from virtual, are they also included in these numbers? Okay, thank you.
Yes, they are.
Anybody else? Nope. Okay, thank you, Ms. Mariana. Moving on, agenda item 5, consent items.
Madam Chair,
Give me 1 second, Ms. Carrillo, because you're super fast. Okay, yes, Ms. Carrillo.
I move to approve consent items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K.
Is there a second on Ms. Carrillo's motion?
Second, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Is there a discussion or a presentation on any of them, Mr. Soto?
No.
No, okay. I am going to move for the vote then. Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay? on-
Yay.
Thank you, Ms. Carrillo. Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Limon, yay or nay? Yay. Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Myself, yay. So consent items 5A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K pass. Agenda item 6, individual items. 6A. Is there a motion on 6A?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Carrillo.
I move to take appropriate action and approve the following ESC 20 contract number 95971 Lone Star Governance Coaching and Superintendent and board member support in the amount of $8,400 for the 2021-2022 fiscal year.
Thank you, Ms. Carrillo. Do I have a second on Ms. Carrillo's motion?
Second, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Is there any discussion needed? Okay, I'm going to move for the vote. Agenda item 6A. Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Limon, yay or nay? Yay. Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Myself, yay. Agenda item 6A passes. Agenda item 6B. Is there a motion for agenda item 6B? Oh, I believe there's going to be a presentation.
Madam Chair, yes, that's
Okay,
going to be
can we
me.
do a presentation and then a second, and then we can open it for discussion?
Well, you don't really need a motion or anything.
Okay.
It's just a
Then
presentation.
perfect. You
Yes,
made my
ma'am.
job easier.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready for me to present.
We're ready.
Okay, so board members, as you may know, every 10 years, the federal government goes and does a census where we count all the population across the country. And as a result of that, we use that information to look at our single member district lines and determine if there's been a change in the population. The law requires if the largest district and the smallest district have a deviation of more than 10%, then you're required by law to redistrict. Now, normally the census information is released in April, but because of COVID and the pandemic, the information didn't get released until just last month in August. And as a matter of fact, it's being released in a more detailed format that we could use this month. I'm not sure if it's even been released yet. Yeah, not yet. So once we get that information, we will have an idea. We'll send it to our demographer and they'll determine whether Harlandale has to redraw their lines or not. Now you're in no rush because your next election isn't until May 2023. And the law requires that it be redrawn, the new map, 90 days before your next election, once the information is released. However, we will want to get it done before that because practically speaking, folks start signing up, I believe, December, January, if they're going to run for that coming up May. And we want to start giving folks notice way ahead of time in terms of what those lines look like. I do have an item, Mr. Soto, the board president, put an item in closed session because there's some legal aspects that I'll need to advise you on. But in general, we're way ahead of the game. But this is something that I wanted to put on your radar because the census information is just starting to be released. And you're going to start hearing more and more about your neighboring districts starting to redraw the lines, the city, the county, the legislature. As a matter of fact, I think the special session has been called with the state legislature to redraw the lines, and there's some litigation going on because of the delay and the concern that they're having to redo it all of a sudden in a special session. So there's going to be all kinds of activity, not about Harlandale, but other local governments. But we wanted to get it on your radar so we can start talking about how we plan to address this once we know if we have to or not. So that's really it. It's just required by law under the education code, under federal laws that we're required to look at the redistricting, because the idea is to keep every single member district somewhat close in population. It's based on the one person, one vote theory that we need to keep things kind of equal as best we can without hurting any minority population in our group. But Harlandale is very different now. We've evolved ever since we first had those redistricting lines, so we should be fine, but we still have to do it. So any questions? And you could reserve those questions for closed session because I do need to brief you on some legal issues related to this. But we wanted to do it in open session as well because it's public information once that census information comes out. And I know it's important to you all to be transparent with the community in terms of, as we start this process, how it's going to look.
Yes, Mr. Luna.
Is there the time when this is going to be released?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
another
released
format?
this month, September.
Okay.
Yes. And well, in the general raw data has already been released, but they put that data in a different format that we can use it, because it'll be real interesting when you see the demographer, how they do it. They literally go block neighborhood by neighborhood and to give you really, because that's how they move the lines to determine, do we have enough people in this district or not? So yeah, good question though. And it was delayed, and it wasn't anybody's fault other than just the pandemic delayed everybody, including the federal government on the census. So you guys are just lucky that we have some clients that have an election in May 2022, and they're having to really speed things up. And it's hard because they just are getting the information. So, but we have a little bit of time.
Any other questions right now for Mr. Resendez? No? Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Agenda item C. Do I have a motion for agenda item C?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Carrillo.
I move to approve the submission of the state waiver for maximum class size enrollment exception for the 2021-2022 school year to the Texas Education Agency.
Thank you, Ms. Carrillo. Is there a second on Ms. Carrillo's motion?
Ma'am, I'll second it, I guess, with discussion, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Moreno. You read my mind, Mr. Moreno. Go ahead. Did you want to start the discussion? Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
Yes, I don't mind starting the discussion. My only concern is the concern that I raised 2 years ago, my concern remains the same, which is that if we have testing grades, I worry that, I know that I see that there's several dual language, and I'm hoping that we're going to be considering in our DOI proposal that those dual language, we're able to identify those people and get them. But I worry about the testing, that the grade levels that they'll be testing in, and that we're asking for waivers. And so 2 years ago, I had asked that the school district please consider that, although I know that we need to do this right now, but please consider if there is an opportunity to bring in an additional teacher or additional staff member in support of those grades that are doing their testing grades, instead of making larger classes, to please consider, if the opportunity arises, that we make them smaller classes instead of larger. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Mr. Moreno?
I was just gonna have Mr. Soto, and I'm sure you have a plan that you'd like to share, or, maybe Ms. Casey, on how we plan to approach it? If you like, would you mind sharing it, sir, or Ms. Casey?
We did go into discussion. I'll have Ms. Casey go over some of the points on our discussion.
Thank you, sir. So first I wanted to address the DOI. So part of District of Innovation, you cannot do an exemption for dual language teachers or special ed teachers. That is something that the state will not allow. And then our dual language classrooms, we have basically one unit at every campus. And so the dual language classrooms are about 22, 23. And they also are very hard to find, our dual language teachers. So hiring a dual language teacher at this point of the year is nearly impossible. We might be able to look at students moving to another campus, but our goal is really keeping them at their home campus. For example, at Adams, we did have the option of breaking up those fourth grade classes and having 2 smaller classes, but the principal opted to keep the little ones at smaller ratio than the older ones. And so we worked with principals on that. But if there is a school and it's not 22-1, then what we do is overload the student. They get on a bus, they go to a school that's not their home campus, and then come back. And what we find is most campuses want to keep their own children on their campus, and most parents want to keep their kids at that campus. And so we actually had kind of went to 9, and then the last day, if you notice, the first board book that went out, it showed 9, and we did some movement. We had kids move. We even accounted for one of these waivers. I believe it's the 3rd grade one that at Gilbert, it's actually on Monday will be a 22-1. That's one of the students that is going into our virtual campus. But as of today, this is a snapshot of where we stand.
Another point, Ms. Casey, was the enrichment for before and after school. If the child is being bused in the morning, they miss that opportunity for the LEAP and the ACE programs before and after school, and get that extra enrichment and tutoring time.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that, well, you just mentioned that these classes are overloaded. Is there a need for these to be a smaller class and all these? Because having a large class and trying to teach and trying to clean and trying to mask up, and I think it's overwhelming for the teachers. But in a regular class, how many classes do we have overload? Or these are the only ones?
No, I believe we have about 3 students right now being overloaded that they, because we're trying to keep these, nobody would be over 24. Our 5th graders don't have a cap. So I believe we have about 3 or 4 students that are overloaded right now. They go to their bus to another school.
So when you say 5th graders don't have a cap, meaning they could go over?
The state does not require a 22 ratio for 5th grade. But again, we try to keep those at 24-1, no more than 25-1. 5th graders are different. When they've spent their whole career at a campus and they've been at a school for 6 years, moving them to another campus at 5th grade is probably more damaging to them.
Of course, yes.
Any other questions, comments?
I guess, Madam Chair, I know, Mr. Soto, I know you guys, every year you guys work on this. This is unfortunately a situation we encounter everywhere. It's not a Harlandale issue. It's pretty much a constant state issue. And I mean, you can see kind of one aspect of it being like, what can we do to support in providing, those additional units of, teacher units. But I know that's something that would have to be presented by Mr. Soto and Dr. Salinas to see what we can do to support that. I guess with that, Mr. Soto, I know there's some other things that happen, like you said, Monday, as Ms. Casey referenced, we have one less issue. But then there's also that we do have high mobility here at Harlandale. So there is a good chance that these numbers may fluctuate based on the year and the time and things like that. I don't know, sir, if you wanted to speak on something like that, with the high mobility that we do have.
Yes, sir. And that's being an open enrollment also. It impacts what school they're choosing to go to. So we try not to impact the children that are living within the boundaries of Harlandale. And the child that is coming in from out of district, they're the first that will be overloaded. So we do keep the child that is in the district within those boundaries. We take them into consideration for them to stay.
And I know too, sir, I'm sorry for interjecting again, but I know it's always been kind of a concern too for our staff that bring their students and may be in that program. Are there any special consideration for them, or I know you guys have come up with plans before?
Yeah, yes, the teacher, student, the staff member is, they are second that would be overloaded behind the student that is out of district. But the student that is from the Harlandale boundaries is considered to that's their home campus, and they would be the last to be moved.
Anybody else? You know, I know you all took great effort in trying to figure this out. I know it's not an easy task. Being a classroom teacher, from what I can see, is a very hard job. If at all possible, I know, like you said, right now, it'd be, you know, we could not find anybody to teach these courses if we were to add another classroom. What I would like, if at all possible, is that next year, before we get to the point to where we need to consider and approve waivers, let's look into adding another classroom or two. I don't like the idea of busing children out of their home campus. And I understand there's a cost to it. But sometimes investing a little bit might bring us great rewards, especially to help those teachers that are already overworked and overloaded. And I know that we can make a room. There's always a possibility of adding. So I would appreciate if maybe next year we can consider that, or bringing that information to the board before we get to the waivers. So that's just my opinion. Any other comments or questions for agenda item 6C? Okay, I am going to move for the vote. Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay on agenda item 6C?
Yay.
Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Nay.
Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
And myself, yay. So agenda item 6 passes. Agenda item 6D. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
I move to notify the Commissioner of Education of our intent to vote on the adoption of a proposed locally developed district innovation plan.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Is there a second on Ms. Ortiz's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Mancha. Any need for discussion, or can we move to the vote? Okay, we're moving to the vote. Mr. Mancha, yay or nay on agenda item 6D?
Yay.
Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay.
And myself, yay. So agenda item 6D passes. Agenda item 6E. A motion on the table? Okay, I'm gonna make the motion. I move to nominate one candidate for each of the 5 positions to be 37 filled on the Bear Appraisal District Board of Directors for January 2022 through December 2023. Is there a second on my motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Carrillo.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes,
So the process would be is you need to make a nomination of one
On
of
the
your
names?
members, and you have up to 5 nomination. Normally, because there are 5 seats up for election,
Mhm.
but you can nominate one person, or you can nominate 5 people from our board to submit as names for nominees for the Bear Appraisal District.
Mr. Hernandez, I have a question. What
Yes, ma'am.
has happened in the past?
So in the past, the board has nominated normally one individual.
Okay,
And then that name will be submitted. All the taxing entities do the same thing where they'll submit their nomination. Some taxing entities don't submit a name because they're going to provide their votes to a candidate that maybe another taxing entity that they know of are going to submit that name.
okay.
So after all the names are submitted, then a ballot is provided to the taxing entities to cast their votes as to how they want them cast.
Okay, so it is safe for us to nominate one individual. We don't have to nominate 5.
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct.
So Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
so just before I make my nomination, it's really what it is typically, it is kind of difficult, even if we nominate someone from here, because you have other entities that have more votes, like Northside has, I think, 2 something. So that's kind of how they usually do it. And sometimes they actually send us emails when they're campaigning for stuff. And they give us stuff in our HH where certain candidates like, hey, here's my profile and this is my resume. So we've had that before. That's typically how it works. But what we've done normally is just select one person, usually the board president. So that's usually what we've done. And you just nominate, and if you get selected, great. If not, there's a high likelihood that someone from Harlandale won't get selected.
That's what my question was going to be, what's the history of getting someone on the Harlandale School Board on that taxing, on the Bear Appraisal District?
Actually, the last one was Thomas Udesti.
And what year was that?
My goodness. Gosh, about eight years ago, I think.
If you look at
2012,
the
that's
unit,
about
the votes.
8 or 9 years, because it's every 2, there'll be a board director for 2 years.
So like Northside ISD has 1,000 votes. So, they could nominate someone from their district and have a good chance of getting selected. So it's just typical, but I would move to nominate Miss Norma Cavazos as our designee nominee.
I second.
Oh, okay, so we'll take a vote on nominating me to the candidate. Silver lining, you'll be my alternate.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Luna to join you as one of the candidates on that ballot.
I will second your motion, Ms. Ortiz.
Do you accept the
But
nomination?
we would have to separate our votes, right, Mr. Hernandez?
Separate our
We have two
motions, right?
motions up.
Okay, let's do the first motion.
Yes.
Let's do the first one that Mr. Moreno and Ms. Carrillo second. So let me take the vote on that. So agenda item 6D to nominate Norma Cavazos as one of the candidates.
No, we can't- it's like
6E, I apologize, 6E. I'm gonna take the vote on that. Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Moreno, yay or nay? And Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
And I guess myself, yay. Okay, so I have become one of the candidates. Now we're
Madam
gonna.
Chair?
Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
I move to nominate Mr. Louis Luna to also be a candidate for each of the 5 positions to be 37 filled on the Bear Appraisal District Board of Directors for January 2022 to December 2023.
I will second your motion and I'm gonna take the vote. Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yes.
Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
And myself, yay. So Mr. Luna.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Mancha.
before we seal the vote,
Can we do a correction?
Yes.
Ms. Ortiz, you said 3737 is just a page number?
Ah,
So just a
yes,
correction on the,
yes.
on the wording, just take out 37.
We're gonna have to put those page numbers in parentheses. Yes, or in a circle, yes. So we did
Thank
have
you.
the correction on the minutes, right? Ms. Juarez? Okay, perfect. Aye, Mr. Mancha.
And Madam Chair, real
Yes,
quick,
yes, Mr. Moreno.
not on Mr. Resendez or Mr. Hernandez, if you guys can clarify, I think we have to designate the votes, right? The amount, because we have 39 votes, or
At this time, you don't
You don't?
designate the votes because they have to get all the nominees first to
Okay.
get the ballot printed up, and then they'll ask the board to provide the votes, and we gotta turn that in by December, so that'll probably be in the November meeting where we'll cast the votes.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you
Madam
so
Chair?
much. Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
I move that we convene in closed session as authorized by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Sections 551.071 through 551.084.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Is there a second on Ms. Ortiz's motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Mancha. I am gonna take the vote. To convene in closed session, Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
And myself, yay. So we are going to convene in closed session. It is right now 7:29. Okay, we are back in open session. It is 9:30 PM. Agenda item 7A, no board action taken. Agenda item 7B. Is
Madam
there a
Chair?
motion? Yes, Ms. Limon.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the settlement agreement as presented in closed session regarding vacation days concerning the employee discussed.
Thank you, Ms. Limon. Is there a second on Ms. Limon's motion?
I'll second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mancha. I will take the vote. Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay on agenda item 7B?
Yay.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
And myself, yay. Agenda item 7B passes. Agenda item 7C, no board action taken. Agenda item 7D, no board action taken. Agenda item 7E, no board action taken. Agenda item 7F, no board action taken. Agenda item 7G, is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
I move that we accept the addendum to the superintendent's contract as discussed in closed session.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. I will second your motion. I will take the vote. Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you, Mr. Mancha. Mr. Luna, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay, ma'am.
Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Myself, yay. So agenda item 7G passes.
Madam Chair,
I was waiting for you, Ms. Carrillo.
I move to adjourn.
I will second your motion and I will take the vote. Mr. Luna, yay or nay to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Nay.
Ms. Limon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Carrillo, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Moreno, yay or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Mancha, yay or nay?
Yay.
Ms. Ortiz, yay or nay?
Yay.
And myself, yay. The yays have it. We are adjourning the meeting. It is 9:33. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a good evening.
I want to stay longer.
What board member?